This week on Conestoga Connected, we follow Try to Connect as they discover a comforting kind of charity. For your appetite, Chris from World Food Now gets a little taste of Ethiopia. And the Pain and Game crew dives into their first competition with hopes to avoid the consequence. All these and more coming up on Conestoga Connected.
Hello, and welcome to Season 12 of Conestoga Connected. I'm Boyan Vincic.
And I'm Mia Alvarez. We have a new set, a new look, and lots of new ideas right here from the Tri-Cities to keep you entertained.
We've got a great show for you today. The set looks... What are you doing? What was that?
I helped Sylvia with pillows.
Who's Sylvia?
Sylvia Koldnick, the founder of Tri-City Pillow Project, is an excellent example of what it means to be a compassionate part of a community. Let's find out what she's all about.
A pillow, a simple thing in everyday life we take for granted. In the Tri-Cities, hundreds of people go without such comfort. Sylvia Koldnick has dedicated her time to giving back by founding the Pillow Project.
Well, I've been doing charity work in the community for about the last 6 years, and I knew that pillows were something that were needed throughout the shelters, but something just told me, Sylvia, it's time to collect pillows, because I like to think outside the box on what people need in the community, and pillows are one of those things that they're there, but you don't think to donate them, so I'm gonna do something different, and here we are. I'm here at Kevin's house from Wellness Massage Studio, and we are picking up pillows that he's donated through his business donations. So come follow me in.
Massage therapist Kevin Cougar explains why he got involved.
The fact that she was raising pillows that were going to be donated to different causes that are helping with a lot of single women or people in shelters, a lot of children too are helped by this, and that really touched my heart, the fact that she gives so much of her time and her efforts to try and do something like this.
For every single person, I will donate another 5 pillows.
It's time to drop off the pillows. Sylvia heads to the YWCA to hand them off to Tina Dennis.
Is very meaningful for us, and it was really overwhelming because you're just like, I'm never let down by the generosity of the human spirit and that there's so many great people out there. If someone's asking, you want to shoot for the stars, so we said 800, which represents about how many would be used in the course of a year.
To help with the Pillow Project, you can donate money or pillows.
The Pillow Project has donated more than 1,000 pillows to 3 different charities in the past year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Moving on, are you hungry and looking for something different?
I'm always down to try new things.
Well, you're in for a treat then. This week on World Food Now, the team experiences a taste of Ethiopia.
I'm Chris from Conestoga Connected, and this week on World Food Now, we're experiencing Africa. We're at Moya, which is authentic Ethiopian food and coffee.
Wendesis is the head chef and owner of Moya. He says the food is as close to authentic as possible.
The problem is we can't find all the materials here easily, but there are so many similar. Most authentic injera.
Okay.
Almost all the Ethiopian food comes with the injera.
One of the first things you notice when you enter are 2 unique-looking tables in the middle of the room. A server at Moya explained the traditional tables.
We eat it together, so that's make you sharing happiness.
I then sat down to eat and enjoy. First came a platter of injera bread, into which they poured various meats and veggies. Thankfully, Ahan was helpful on how to enjoy the food.
So just pick small things and scoop it.
And then you just grab a bunch?
Yep.
Oh, okay, I see.
There it goes.
It's hard to describe. I'm trying to put what's most likely a Canadian food, but there's nothing really like it. It's just so fragrant, and so the spices are so strong, and they all come out perfectly. It's very good.
A cameraman Arlen joined in to eat when something unexpected happened.
Oh my goodness.
The staff at Moya roast your coffee tableside before going back to the kitchen to finish preparing it. They then serve you world-famous Ethiopian coffee. Moya can be found at 215 Highland Road West, Kitchener. For Conestoga Connected, I'm Chris Paisley.
Wow, that food looked great. I want to get a picture of it.
Speaking of taking pictures, are you looking for new ways to capture photos?
I mean, I'm getting pretty bored with my camera.
Well, Through the Lens has a solution for you. They're looking for vintage lenses that are going for a good price.
The year is 1958. The Carl Zeiss 58mm f2 lens has been the dominant portrait lens for nearly 30 years. Enter the Helios 58mm f2. The Helios was produced from 1952 to about 1992 and could do almost everything the Zeiss could, but for a fraction of the cost, meaning that there are millions of them in existence. The Helios f2 has become one of the most prolific lenses in vintage filmmaking today. The TTL crew went to Huron Natural Area in Kitchener to test out the Helios. We brought our friend Celia to model.
I've been modeling for my mom, who used to do professional photography, as well as what I'm doing right now.
And local photographer Sydney Elizabeth to test out the lens.
I specialize in headshots, portraits, and events. You can find me at Sydney Elizabeth Photography on Instagram or at my website, sydneyelizabethphotography.com. I'm super excited. I've never tried out a vintage lens before, so.
Do you know anything about vintage lenses?
I know nothing except for the little I've learned today.
So what was your experience like using the vintage lens?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I've never used a vintage lens before. One of the cons I would say is it kind of took my focus away from my model just because I was more trying to fine-tune my settings and getting used to the lens at first as well. But I think the shots look really cool and I'm excited to see them.
You know, I might try that lens out for my next movie.
Similar to movies, video games can take years until they reach their launch date. But do you know what kind of work goes into them?
The guys from Tech Talk decided to find out from our very own Urizen Sanchez Andrade right here in the studio. Let's see what they learned.
Hey guys, welcome to Tech Talk on Conestoga Connected, the show where we explore technology and the experts that use it. This week we're honing in on game development. Urizen Sanchez Andrade is a game development student here at Conestoga College. Are there lots of extra challenges that go into making a VR game as opposed to a regular PC game?
The first challenge you will find in VR is that you have to make everything twice, because VR works you have to make everything appear on both lenses of the screen so that it can mix together and create the perspective that we're used to in regular life. So you have to create art, the perspective of the art from one side of the eye and the perspective of the eye for the other, so that both can mesh together properly and give you a proper 3D in-depth perspective.
Eric McQuiggan is the program coordinator for game development at Conestoga College.
So the hardest games to make would be massively multiplayer online games, because you have so many people and you have so many moving parts that are all acting at the same time to ensure that when something happens at position A and then thousands of other people are aware of it and that their games also react to it is very expensive. So it's an advanced dance to make sure that all these elements work in concert in order to everyone has effectively the same result and a positive experience.
Voila!
Is this actually a thing? I have to kill the chickens? I'm ready. Can I kill them at the source?
Oh, don't know, tried? Get out of the way, out of the grass. And oh no, they're seeing me. I hide because I'm a worm. I can burn.
but thank you so much for showing me your demo and for kind of showing me around the world of game development today.
It's always a game here. And it's hard.
In the past, people always said video games were for kids, but things are changing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm 23 and I still play Donkey Kong every year.
Well, next up on Press Play, Thomas Strongman will be taking us through a great new hideout made just for those of us who never stopped gaming.
We met up with Che Kernu, who owns Pinball Arcade Bar, to get more in-depth on his gaming hotspot.
I collect this stuff. I really enjoyed arcades growing up. That was kind of the thing that I did with all my weekends as a kid, and where all my quarters went. So as I got a little older, and I've been in the bar business for a long time, it was something that I always wanted to add.
Che says his pricing model is different.
Yeah, so it's a little different than what the classic arcades were. You went in with all your quarters, your loonies, and put them in the machines. Here we just do a pay one price model, and it's a free play arcade. So you pay $5, and it's unlimited gaming. You come in and play as much as you want.
Che says his favorite is a classic.
So I'm actually more of a pinball player, but if I had to pick a video game, probably my favorite game growing up was Q*bert, and I have a Q*bert on the other side there, so it was one of the grail games for me that I had to get.
Che believes nostalgia plays a factor in why people come in.
Absolutely, we get a lot of that. We come in, like it's like kid in a candy store when they walk in here. It brings back memories for them. Lots of games they haven't seen since they were kids, or seen working at least. And just seeing this many games on location is pretty unusual these days. They come in for the fun, and like obviously we are a bar as well, so they come in to kind of have a few drinks and have some fun.
All right, guys, so I'm here with Andy. Andy actually works at the Pinball Arcade Bar, and he's a local student at University of Waterloo. So Andy, what do you like so much about the Pinball Arcade Bar?
You get a lot of different communities that come by. People who play pinball, fighting game community, a lot of people who aren't even just into different types of arcade games.
Thanks again for tuning in for our very first episode of Press Play. I'm your host, Thomas Strongman. This has been the Pinup Arcade Bar. If you're interested yourself, come on down to 247 King Street North and play some games. Thanks for watching.
Moving from digital games to physical games. Earlier this week, Boyan and the guys went to Sky Zone for the first episode of Paint and Game.
Yeah, I'm still pretty sore from that.
Let's jump in.
Hi, I'm Bojack. And I'm Joel. Welcome to the first episode of Paint and Game. We're here at Sky Zone in Kitchener to do the American Ninja Warrior Challenge. Let's go.
I think just opportunity to try something new, have some fun, and be active at the same time.
I'd say the first one, out of difficulty, about a 4 for the first one, and then the middle one, about 6 or 7, and then the last one, 8 or 9.
I'm pretty confident. I think I'll get through the first one, the second one easily. The third one is scary. I think I'm gonna fail on that one, but I just need to get farther than you, so.
He's gonna lose. He sucks.
The first one, 4 out of 10 for sure. This one's not hard at all.
Yeah, the first one was really easy, breezed through it.
But the second one got a little more difficult, but it made it more fun.
I had a bit of trouble with the balancing. Probably pretty obvious, but still got it done.
We got to the third one, and that's when it got kind of insane.
And the third one broke my back. So, we both lost because we're not great at this, but Sky Zone was pretty dope.
Sky Zone was cool. We had fun.
Didn't think I'd sweat so much, but now it is time for the pain of Paint and Game.
Well, that's going to do it for us.
Amy and Eric are up next with everything from horseback riding to tattoo art to, dare I say it, cow tongue. Stay with us.
Next up on Conestoga Connected. Ever heard of Western riding? Join us with Taylor while we uncover where this sport got its start. Sega? Nintendo? Join Skylar and find out which game system the people of the Tri-Cities think is superior. What unique dish is Chef Mike cooking? Xena and Sasha adventure off to Waterloo's restaurant Exclamation to try this unique dish. All this and more coming up next.
Welcome back to Conestoga Connected. I'm Amy McGuire.
And I'm Eric Hansen.
We've got a great second half of the show, and I can't wait to get to it.
Amy, what do you normally like to get when you go out to eat?
I usually just get like a hamburger or a steak.
Yeah, you're a beef fan? Have you ever tried beef tongue?
Beef tongue?
That's right, beef tongue. That's what our hosts are trying on this week on Eat the Extreme. Let's check it out.
Hey, welcome to Eat the Extreme. I'm Xena.
And I'm Sasha. We're at Waterloo Exclamation.
And today we'll be trying beef tongue. Let's get started. First up, Sasha will be greeting the owner as I see what Mike Chef is cooking up.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn. I'm an owner of this restaurant. So our restaurant is actually art gallery and restaurant. So we mainly serve Japanese dish and Chinese dish, but it's a fusion. Ramen noodles and bento boxes.
Now we speak to Mike Shu as he explains how beef tongue is prepared.
You can tell about how fresh of the beef tongue by the color. If you look at it, it's white and not so dark. That will be a good one.
It's time to slice and prepare the tongue for our taste testing.
The flame will make it, dish we call it, it's seared beef tongue, salt seared beef tongue. So it will make a little bit like a barbecue taste, traditional dish in Japan. So I begin to study how to cook it.
Seasoned with salt, pepper, and chili, the beef tongue is ready for Sasha and I to fry. You know what though? It smells really good. Like, I honestly can't wait to fry. Okay, 3, 2, 1. That's amazing.
I'm gonna get the whole piece.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It's so yum. It's just right amount of spicy for me.
Definitely. Okay, thanks for joining us. This was Eat the Extreme. Join us next time.
Eric, what you're drawing there looks really good. It's really realistic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess I'm just really excited for our next segment, looking at realistic tattoo art on Try Ink. Let's take a look.
We're here today at Luz Marina, and we're going to talk to Daryl Weeb about his style of tattooing. Let's go.
He just opened his new shop a year ago with his partner, and it's a booming success. Luz Marina is located downtown Kitchener on King Street East. With the original artwork covering the walls and the wall-to-wall windows letting in natural light, it makes it a cool and cozy place to get either your first tattoo or your 100th.
How long have you been a tattoo artist?
I have been tattooing for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And what kind of style do you specialize in?
I specialize in lettering and black and gray realism.
And what drew you to that specific style?
I always like handwriting, different lettering styles, graffiti, and kind of Chicano style tattooing, cars, lady faces, all that stuff.
What is the technique of doing the black and white realism? Like, is there a specific, something you did in your past that brought you here?
I did a lot of visual art, graffiti, street art. I actually thought I'd be more of a color tattooer, but I guess lately I've been enjoying more so black and gray.
I met Daryl about a year and a half ago when I walked down King Street and just walked into his shop. I showed him a picture of the Tree of Life tattoo that I have on my right forearm. I said if he would be able to do something like that, and he said, yeah, no problem. He added some special touches to his design, added the birds going up to the forearm, which I really liked, and then also a design. Every time somebody asks where I got the tattoos, I recommend it. Everyone should check them out.
Is there a tattoo that is like really memorable for you?
I tattooed my mom. Yeah, she got, when we opened the shop, she got the first tattoo out of the shop. That's probably my favorite.
You can find Daryl Weeb on Instagram at DarylWeebArt, or find them on the shop's Facebook page, Luz Marina. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Try Inc.
Did you know that horseback riding isn't all racing and jumping? Do you know the difference between English style and Western style?
Stay tuned for our next segment. It's really gonna rope you in.
Welcome to this week's segment of Sports Uncovered, where we take a look at some of the lesser-known issues that are present in sports. Today we're at Munch Stables, and we're going to be discussing Western-style horseback riding.
Western riding is a style that was developed very early on with a main purpose to get work done. The style was created for ranchers to do everyday tasks such as rounding up cattle, so they needed a horse that could turn on a dime, chase down cattle, and carry out other daily tasks. Over the years, these tasks turned into competitions between fellow ranchers, thus creating the rodeo. In these, the cowboys and cowgirls would put their skills to the test in events such as roping and riding. Some of this may sound familiar, but when most people think of horse competitions, they think of jumping.
No Western sports are actually in the Olympics. So it doesn't get as much coverage unless you're into the rodeo and that kind of activities and sports.
A big issue is the sport's promotion. Western riding gets very little, if any, television coverage. A reason for this is because of the very nature of Western riding. It is not considered as clean and pretty as some of the English events that are shown, and it simply does not show as well on television. This lack of exposure keeps people away from the sport, and they might not even know it exists. Barrel racing is a popular event for Western riders.
Barrel racing is only allowed to be done professionally by ladies, which I think doesn't help the sport because, as we all know, ladies' sports doesn't get as much coverage as men's sports does.
Cassandra Court is a rider at Munch Stables and thinks people just need to try Western.
It takes a lot of time and effort and patience, but I think if we got people out here to do it, they would fall in love.
We learned a lot and had a lot of fun here today. Western barns might be harder to find, but the search is definitely worth it. For Conestoga Connected, I'm Taylor Van Weimer.
Sounds like Western riding goes way back. Kind of like that retro turntable you're checking out there, Eric.
Oh yeah, it's quite nostalgic, you could say. Speaking of nostalgia, are you a fan of the 90s? Did you grow up gaming, or maybe a small part of you wishes that you had?
If you're a fan of retro video games, this next segment might interest you.
Growing up at that time, I was a Sega guy as opposed to Super Nintendo. You couldn't watch TV or read computer or video game magazines without seeing the less than subtle rivalry between Nintendo and Sega. Like Sega does what Nintendo don't, and things like that. Competitors really called themselves out and called their other competitors out a lot more directly than they do now. Like PlayStation and Xbox don't fight in their ads against each other so much as they promote their own stuff, but it was a battle back then, and yeah, they took liberties with each other. Sega in the end never really figured out where they were going to go, and subsequently went nowhere, whereas of course Nintendo knew exactly where their money was being made and stayed with it. Obviously they became far more successful.
Got one more segment, save the best for last. You better not blink because it's coming fast. Oh, bars.
Let's leave it to the professionals, Eric.
Hurtful.
Next, we follow Wrap It Up host Morgan Jadisky, who catches up with rapper Danielle S.
That's right, and we get to find out a little bit more about him and even get to hear good freestyle. Sorry.
Hey yo, what's up? I'm Morgan Jadisky, and you're watching Wrap It Up. Today we got a rapper, musician extraordinaire, Danielle S. I'm gonna ask him a few questions and we're gonna drop a freestyle. What would you say your genre is? Like, it's hip hop, it's rap, but like what subgenre of rap would you say you are?
So hip hop / rap and then / vapor trap. It's not really a name for it, but I call it lightheaded bops because when you listen to my music, you know, it's just like, just bob your head to it. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. What genres of music outside of hip hop do you try and weave into your music?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Great question, bro. Like, I don't know, guitars are just beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Any song with guitars or like grand piano or like Kanye West type orchestra was like, or Smino.
So you say you sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Is it a pull-out couch?
Or what's a pull-out couch?
Yeah, is it a pull-out couch?
No, it's literally a couch.
It's just a couch. Why are you sleeping on the couch?
So like right now, like since we moved to Canada or whatever, right? We've been living in this apartment. I used to have a bed, but I don't really sleep on it, and then just kind of like threw it out because I wanted space in my room for my mic and my like stuff, right? So I sleep on the couch all night.
True. Absolutely. All right. Do you have anything dropping soon? Any singles?
Yes.
You got a mixtape?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, bro. I would tell you the date, but it's a secret. If you want to know, you should check out my Instagram.
True.
Follow me and be like, hey, I watched your interview. It's pretty fire.
Go drop the Instagram.
So
What's the
at DDANYALS. So Danielle S.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show.
No problem, bro.
We're gonna go.
Thank you for having me.
Drop a freestyle. It's gonna be rad.
Fire in the boot.
In this dress. It's not a dress, it's a jacket. Got a rocket in my pocket, you know what I mean? Rockets in my pockets, you know that I like to eat. Talking about the rockets that are mint.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us for yet another fantastic episode of Conestoga Connected.
And as always, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Conestoga Connected. See you next week.